Hi, welcome to Chronic Health. I'm your host, Ryan Lovis, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you the two workouts that I did to relieve and fix my low back pain. It's two simple workouts that you can do at home, doesn't require any weights, no special apparatuses. All you need is a chunk of floor and the will to get it done. So one thing I had to learn about the low back is the low back is not a power muscle, it's an endurance muscle. We often treat the low back, use the low back, and train the low back as if it is a power muscle. Look at this picture of a bodybuilder. If you'll notice, all the bulging muscle is on his upper to mid back, but his low back isn't nearly bulging like the rest of it is because your power muscles are in the mid to upper back. That's what does the heavy lifting of your back, not your low back. And the problem is, since we treat the low back the same, we want to work out the low back the same. But the low back is not to be worked out like the rest of it is. It's an endurance muscle. So it has to be trained in a fashion that would increase its endurance. These workouts are made to increase your low back's endurance. And that's the thing you need to realize is the low back is not meant to do heavy lifts. It's meant to simply stabilize your spine, your upper body, and keep you stable. That way, whenever you go left, right, forward, backward, whatever it is, you can come right back to a place of stability. What can often happen is when your spinal column gets out of alignment, well, then it's all out of alignment. And your body is incredible at doing one simple thing, and that's keeping you going. There could be a problem, and you not even know it because your body's number one concern is to keep you going. If it can keep you going, it'll do whatever it needs to keep you going. Sometimes that's to your detriment. And what happens is when the spine is out of alignment, then in your hips, some muscles can be working overtime and others aren't working at all. So then what happens is these muscles are working overtime. These aren't working at all. These atrophy, these get smaller. These eventually get overworked and then they fatigue out. And then that's when something simple like you bending over to tie your shoes or you drop some on the floor and you bend over to get it, or you just do like a simple movement and it seems like it throws your back out. Something you've been doing, man, your whole life. For me, I was playing basketball. I was playing a sport that I had played for years. I mean, multiple hours of doing the same thing. But something about this one particular night, my body was not having it. That's because my spine was out of alignment. There was muscles that weren't working, then muscles that were working overtime that eventually said, hey, I'm done. And so then what I had to do is I had to focus on those little muscles, the muscles that in traditional workouts, you're not really going to hit. Unless you specifically hit these muscles, you're not going to hit them and not really in the way that you need to. So in these two workouts, I'm going to show you how to specifically target those muscles, strengthen them. And the thing is, if you do these workouts right, you'll feel relief almost instantly. First thing I need you to keep in mind whenever you're doing these workouts is this is not a race. This is not to see how quickly you can get it done. This is not to see if you can beat your personal best or beat yesterday's record or whatever. You need to do it slowly. You need to do it deliberately. Go through the motions. Don't cheat yourself, because if you cheat yourself, you're robbing yourself of a pain-free life. You're robbing yourself of something that'll help you in the long run. Do it slow, do it deliberate, get the workout. And like I said, you don't need any special equipment. You don't need any weights at all. You just need to lay on the floor and do it with proper form. Let's get to it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to identify more of what the pain we're talking about. So if your low back is here, and if you feel the pain kind of in like this area right here, but it feels like deep in there. It doesn't just feel like I worked my muscle and it's really hurting. It feels like it's deep in there. So one thing I need you to do is you'll feel these two bones right here, kind of just above if your hips are here, it's kind of just above your hips back here. So what you'll do is the first part, you'll need to kind of grip right here on your hip. Now you're not trying to like cut off the circulation, but you want to make sure that your grip is tight. And the reason why is as you go through the motions I'm about to show you, you'll feel your muscle flexing and working through those motions. And you want to keep constant pressure on those on the spot. So that way you know, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm also going to basically show you the motion standing upright, because I'm going to use a few terms and I want to make sure you understand and can see what I'm talking about when I say what I'm saying. So basically, you're going to be laying on the ground and you're going to take your leg that's not on the ground. You're going to first use your knee to touch the ground. You're going to bring it past midline. When I say midline, I mean this is the midline of your body from my shoulders down to my heels. That's midline. When I bring my foot behind midline, I bring it back here. Now my foot is behind midline. And so what you're going to do is you're going to, when you touch your knee, you're going to come back. And again, you can, when you grab here, you'll feel it flex back there. You're not trying to see how far you can take it back, but you'll take it back to where it's flexed back there. You'll then come up, and you'll feel it in here. You'll feel it tight almost right away. Keep your toes pointed down, and then you'll bring your knee back to touch the ground. So that's basically standing up. That's what the workout looks like. So let's get on the ground, and you'll actually see it in motion. All right, so now it's time to actually do the first workout. So first, you're gonna sit on your side, and you're gonna put your hand on your hip. Again, you're not trying to cut off the circulation, but you do want consistent pressure. And so you're gonna take your leg, take your knee, touch to the ground out in front of you, take it back behind midline, like so. And one thing you wanna do is keep your toes pointed down. Keep your toe, again, if you do that, you'll feel extra squeeze back here in your gluteus medius, which is where we're wanting to feel it. So then once you bring it back, you'll take it up and then come back, touch the ground. Take it back, up, touch the ground. Again, this is not a race. You're not trying to see how fast you can do this. The slower and more deliberate you do it, the better it'll be for you, because this is taking your gluteus medius through its range of motion. It's going up. You're working all the muscles that incorporate doing this simple workout, and you're strengthening the muscles that need to be strengthened to help your low back to be the endurance muscle that it needs to be. Strengthening those muscles, working them out. And like I said, your low back is an endurance muscle. So now you're working the endurance muscles the way they're supposed to be worked. Up and down. Do that about 10 times per leg. And again, I can't stress it enough. Do it deliberately. Touch your knee, point 1. Bring your foot back, point 2. Bring it up, point 3. And then finish with your knee touching the ground again. Do that 10 times per leg. I would say 2 sets. One set would be, left leg, right leg. Second set would be left leg, right leg. Try and do it 10 times. If you can't, don't worry about it. Work up to that. But you'll do it about 3 times a week. All right, so now the second and final workout is a little bit different. There's going to be, your range of motion is much more minimal than the first one. So the first one is you're going to find yourself a wall. You'll put your shoulder up against the wall, lift your arm up here. Now this is just for stability. This isn't for anything else, but just to make you feel like you are in a stable position. And then whatever leg is closest to the wall, that's the leg you'll lift up. Now, when it comes to the stabilization of your lower body, what you don't want is you don't want, whenever you pick up a foot, you don't want your hip to drop. If your hips are dropping whenever you pick up a foot or whenever you take a step, that's an easy sign of there's muscles in this region that are weak that aren't working the way they should be, because whenever you take a step, your hips should be stable at all times. So that way your upper body is stable at all times and every muscle is working together in conjunction the way it's supposed to be. So again, you're going to come to a wall, put your arm on it. When you lift your leg up, there might be like a little bit of clearance between your leg and the wall. That's what you want. Because what you're going to do is you're going to lift your leg up and then you'll take your hip and drive it into the wall. Now where you'll feel it is you'll still feel it in this region right here. You'll lift your leg up, drive it into the wall, and you'll feel it really back here. Let it back down to where it's level, drive it back in. Down to its level, drive it back in. And you're really just taking your hips to drive it in. You go like that. And again, like I said, the range of motion in that workout is much more minimal than the first, but concentration, slow, deliberate movements aren't any less important. This one, it even took me a while to get to where I feel where I really am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But really, it's simple. Keep in mind that I'm trying to keep my hips straight or keep them stable by working out these muscles to push my hip like that, push my hip in, push my hip in. And then again, you'll do that both sides. Do it 10 reps per side for 2 sets total. And with both of these workouts, again, I would recommend doing it 3 times a week. That's what I did. Do it 3 times a week, 2 sets each leg. And then again, it's not this, you don't have to get to 10 reps. If you can get to 5 and then take a few second break and do a few more, do that. Work your way up to 10. And again, like I said, if you do these properly, you'll feel relief instantly. But don't stop there. Keep going. Do it for a while. Build up those muscles. Build up your strength, because there's a time when even if your back isn't hurt, you still feel like there's certain movements that it's just like, man, at any moment my back could go weaker. At any moment it just feels like my back is not where it should be. These workouts will help you strengthen that back to let you do the things you want to do with confidence and being pain free.